I kept the setup from the qualifying, but the top gear in that setup, it's a little too short, and I was always like struggling. Even to keep his draft. Today, Topani wasn't struggling to give my draft, but he hadn't the chance to overtake me just because I think that he has no other races. He didn't practice a lot, so he mistaken the top speed, and in this track is very crucial.
Yeah, it definitely is. With that long straightaway, the trip out of 7 all the way down to the chicane, you've got to have that top end. And I don't think he was the only driver that was caught out by that. We saw several battles like that where the following car just not able to get in the tow and make a move around. So, you don't know if you don't ask. So that was a good question. I appreciate you filling us in on that, because that makes sense now. So, but hey, listen. Got one round left. Hopefully a podium finish for you next week.
I think that's it's thinking a little bit too optimistic. In this series there are so much fast guy that a podium I think it would be a little bit too much for me. But I'm pretty happy. Me and Steve Bycroft, we are dueling very close to the second division championship, and with this race I put it on something like 20 points leading, and I think that's another race like this for the last round. It will be perfect for me.
Well, we wish you the best next week, then. Hope for a good result for both you and Steve. We'll see you then, Nicola. Have a great evening.
Okay, thank you. Can I just make a point?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely, man.
I know that in English speaking, my surname is spelled Cocci, but actually in Italian language is more like Cocchi. But just like a little tip, is not it's not very it's not matter too much.
Okay. Good to know, buddy. All right. Well, then we will see you next week. Thanks again for coming in and visiting with us. Have a good evening.
Okay, thank you. You too. Bye-bye.
Ciao to Nicola Kaki. And now we will talk to Anson Benet. Anson, it was a bit of a struggle out there for you today, but you did finish the race and you did pick up one spot. This is a fun track. Did you have fun today?
Well, yeah, I had a lot of fun. First of all, I'd just like to say congrats to Yuha. I don't know how he does it. Someone with CFS, and I am exhausted, so I could just imagine how he's doing.
Yeah.
But it was crazy. It was really my first week really doing this track on any car, and it was a lot of fun and a lot of struggle. I had a different race from everyone else, as you can tell, because one of the biggest challenges here was letting other guys pass, and I wasn't up to pace, so I had to let a lot of guys pass, and that's a different race in itself.
Yeah, well, good point there, and so letting those guys pass. Did you get? I don't know if we caught any, but did you get in any trouble with anybody, or were you able to pull that off without any trouble?
I think I wouldn't say I didn't have any trouble. It was very, very hard at times because there was some really nice, I could see some really nice battles going on. And early on, I saw Cal following Yuha, and I let them pass in a pretty tricky spot, but I got it done. But it was a real learning experience. This track is amazing. I can't wait to try next season when I have a little more experience.
Yeah, listen, Road Atlanta is a classic, so I would suggest.
The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get. He missed the complete. He's crazy.
Getting in a GT3 car. Certainly the Lotus 79. Try the DW12 here. Maybe even getting a.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
NASCAR truck around here. It's a bit of an experience. So now I've got to ask, Anson, because we met and got to talk to you last week. Is there a local racetrack there in Trinidad? Do you guys have anything there?
Pickles on a peanut butter sandwich, banana pizza, vanilla ice cream with soy sauce. Strange combinations that work. Add to that list tonight's pairing. Skip Barber.
How we do? We have one. It's called the Wallerfield racetrack. It was built actually during
Formula 2000s at Daytona International Speedway. It's the absolute beginners league Formula Neagle.
When we had some U.S. troops down here, it's a pretty much concrete and asphalt. A smallish
Season 11 finale, and all the action from Green Flag to Victory Donuts can be seen live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing channel.
track. It's about smaller than Road Atlanta, but it's a pretty simple kind of track. Not too big, not too fancy.
So it's a road circuit or is it an oval?
It's a road circuit, definitely a road circuit. Oval isn't very popular in the Caribbean right now, so all the tracks you'd
From the Sunshine State, welcome to GSRC's Countdown to Green. Way up in the press box to bring you our bird's eye view is yours truly.
see here, and Barbados would be pretty much road circuits.
Okay, so some tracks in.
Joined by Adam Young, down in the production van, turning the knobs and pushing the sliders, is the hardest working man in sim race broadcasting, our director Joe Peak, and the
As well.
Yeah, they have a thriving racing community. They have a large rallying community as well. So when we finally get to see rallycross and iRacing, you'll see a lot of Barbados guys, I assume.
cameras at his disposal have been located, aimed, zoomed, and focused by GSRC's camera guru, Dougie Beard. If you brought cyberspace into your place, then over the next 15 streamy award-worthy minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to fully.
You know, I'm almost thinking at some point you and I need to get together and we need to do like a show, Racing from Trinidad with Anson Benet. I don't know. We'll talk about that. But hey, listen, you know what? Congratulations today. Good.
Appreciate the 70 minutes tonight of Skip Barber simulated racing that will immediately follow. Now, before we get into what's coming up, let's quickly recap round 7 action, where 40 drivers took the grid at Sebring behind the Roland Estonian Aero Num. A 6-car train formed up front early with Num, Tuan Tran, David Burns, Pierce.
Job out there, buddy.
Yeah, man. Thanks, and thanks a lot for the continued excellent work on the broadcast. We really appreciate it, giving the Lotus 79 the attention it deserves.
Well, you're too kind. We thank you, bud, and we'll see you next week in the final round.
Okay, guys, take care.
All right, and that was Anson Bennett,
Bastian Hausman, and newcomer Christian Kabanka. But all the racing, all the strategy,
Bennett. I guess I should have asked him that, but always fun talking to him. Listen, we want to thank the Lotus 79.
Early pit stop, Tran, Burns, and Cocky following suit. Hausman's blindingly fast stop that got him the lead. That all boils down to a 5-car dogfight into the final turn. Now here's what happened. Num protected the inside from the lead. Tran made the move on the outside. The 2 cars got together, allowing
Community for organizing this with us and getting these shows on every Sunday. We also we want to thank the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcasts. And we'll have those lists.
Burns and Hausman to shoot through and go 1-2 under the checkered flag. For Burns, it was his 2nd win of the season. Cocky took evasive action and glanced off the wall. He had to settle for 5th. Num was able to limp the car home in 3rd, even though he tried to surrender the spot back to Tran, who ended up 4th on the iRacing timing and scoring. But honestly, words don't do justice to the action. If you missed it, just watch it. And now, that brings us to what's going on here tonight. Now, Adam, it took Formula Neagle 48 races to finally find its way to Sebring, and I guess the series organizers found alligators and oranges to their liking, as the series stayed in the state of Florida, but this time, it's Daytona.
Yeah, so it from one classic racetrack to another. Of course, at Daytona, no, we're not going to be on the 2.5-mile oval. We'll be on the 11-turn, 3.6-mile road course layout here, but still uses quite a bit of the oval. So drafting going to be just absolutely huge here for tonight. And of course, if you don't know Daytona, which is probably few and far between, you know that it was opened, of course, in 1959. It is the home of the Daytona 500. It home of the Rolex 24 Hours at Daytona. Just everybody, if you're involved in motorsports in one way or another, you probably want to come to Daytona or have been to Daytona. So with a track that needs very little introduction, let's go ahead and take a lap around in today's GSRC Lap Guide.
All right, we've got Amjad Yammer to the GSRC Skippy, so let's do a lap around Daytona. Around the tri-oval and into turn 1, most cars require you to swing wide for the entry, but the underpowered Skippy is still fast, hugging the inside line. You'll let it drift out after braking and kind of take it as a double apex corner. The extra speed from the draft will probably make it easy to overshoot into there, so expect some big mistakes by drivers. Weave through the chicane, and then after the pit exit, bring the car all the way to the left. The International Horseshoe will offer a place to pass, and if you can get it done, try your best to pull away or else your opponent will just slipstream by once again on the oval. Be sure to square off the exit for better speed up to the next horseshoe. After that, ease the car across the track, and without much oomph, you're going to easily hold the pedal flat to the floor through the kink. Try to get the car off of the left for braking into the western horseshoe. The tricky part about this bend is the way the track sharpens in the middle but widens on entry and exit. It honestly makes it very tough to get the car down to the apex. Bring it off to the right and then really focus on hitting your mark into turn 6. This is a critical corner because being late onto the power as you come to the oval will mean you'll lose time hand over fist. There's not much to say about the banking because you'll only get up to about 120 miles an hour when by yourself. Smooth out your inputs and hug the double yellow line. Skipping ahead to the bus stop, though this is a popular spot for overtakes, this double chicane often causes problems when cars enter too wide. Cut course penalties can also cost you dearly, so take it to the edge at your peril. Once again, the sooner you can put your right foot down, the better off your laps will be as we now hit NASCAR 3 and 4. From here to the start-finish line, you'll just hold down to the inside. As I mentioned before, draft battles will make up a big chunk of the race, and you may have to play it more strategic than gutsy. But now that we've hit the tri-oval once more, you've now finished a lap around Daytona.
Tonight's director, Joe Peak, pushing away from the director's console, picking up the mic to talk us around Daytona. And now let's look at the points with only one race, this one remaining on the docket. With wins at Summit Point and Montreal, and able to avoid problems everywhere else, Busch Fink Yellow's Aero Num is positioned to win his 4th crown. He's got 3 already, looking to pick up his 4th tonight if all goes according to plan. Close enough, though, to keep him honest is Tuan Tran for Mama Jean Racing, just 20 markers back. Two Stupid Dogs, David Byrne, still has a mathematical chance for the crown, but overtaking Tran for 2nd, probably a more realistic goal. The top rookie of the season has been Christian Kabanka for Haas CCR Skippy. Draco Racing Pierce Cocky rounds out the overlay. Let's look at the team championship where the plot thickens a bit. It's a little closer than the drivers championship, with Mama Jean Racing leading DBR Two Stupid Dogs by only 8 points. Now, the big news here is MGR's Bastian Hausman got a late call into work. Remember, this is sim racing. Real-world responsibilities play a factor. And that's going to force him to miss tonight's festivities, which means Tran alone will need to fend off Burns and Vincent Brame for DBR's Two Stupid Dogs. Num's effort for Busch Fink Yellow has that team in 3rd. How about Michael Hoflandaisen and Andrew Leach for AM Racing? They are sitting in 4th with the solo effort from, we talked about him before, the rookie Christian Kabanka for Haas CCR Skippy in 5th. So, Adam, we've talked about the track, reviewed the last race, gone over the points. Now let's look at the specifics for this afternoon's event.
Yeah, just real quick, while we still have the team standings up, one thing to note, too, that I don't see on the order here for tonight is Vincent Brem himself.
Look at that.
So it becomes the team championship is going to come down to a battle between Tuan Tran and David Burns, who, lo and behold, they themselves separated by 8 points in the driver's standings. So I just saw that, and I was like, I better check. Okay, so anyway, race details here for today. Of course, this is the 8th round of 8. It is the finale. It is for all the marbles, all that other good kind of stuff. The race distance today is going to be about 70 minutes, and these are open setups, and we are looking at 2 stops for fuel here for today. Incident cap at 24, and there are no fast repairs.
Now, Adam, the drivers have fooled us before when we say there's 2 stops. We've seen Tuan Tran, who's a master at it, go ahead and one-stop these things. Don't think that's going to be able to happen here today. Anyone going to be able to fool us and do a one-stop?
No, you're on the throttle way too much, and the intel that we're getting is not even Tuan Tran could draft his way to a one-stopper here today.
Qualifying, about a minute and a half left in qualifying. We'll get to that in a minute. How about a couple more questions? What's pit lane like here? We've never been here before. Pretty simple?
Well, that's just it. It's if it was the oval, I'd say yes, but being the road course, the pit exit can get a little intense. You're kind of getting dumped out in traffic a little bit, and you've seen some sports car wrecks there on pit exit, so it'll be somewhere to watch here for today.
All right, let's hustle over to the number to know. We saw briefly there. What does that 8 mean?
Yeah, that 8's it's the points that it's the positions that Euronum has to start in 8th, finish in the 8th position or higher to clinch the championship. If he finishes 8th or higher, can't do anything as far as Tuan Tran. Tuan Tran cannot do anything. It is Euronum's championship.
Even a win and all the bonus points not going to get him there. Okay, looks like qualifying is done, and it's a standing start, so we can get to the grid here a little bit early, give us plenty of time. We have plenty of time. Let's go 2 at a time here today. Adam, Aaron Num, and David Burns on the front row.
Yeah, Andrew Leach and Tuan Tran, the man chasing Num.
Newcomer Flores Bashar and Christian Kabaka make up row 3.
And row 4 is going to belong to Stefan Larkham and Michael Hafedazen starting in 8th.
A rookie that's always fun to watch, Henrik Camara in 9th position, rounding out the overlay, Rodrigo Fiera.
And then Joachim Lundgren starting in 11th position in row 6, and Michelle Rugenbrink starting alongside him.
Orbiting in the Baker's dozen position is Frederick Neptune, Ludwig Sawyer in 14th.
In row 8 is going to belong to Thomas Kick and Andy Moore.
And, they have Cooper Collier and Kevin McKnight in the next spots.
Yeah, and row 10 is going to belong to Edgar Sanchinelli and Darren Kuhn.
And then in 20th, and we go down there. Well, I've lost my spot here. Am I in 20th position? I'm in 21st position, I guess. It's Kevin Mills and Arnaldo Petkov.
And then in row 12 and 23rd, Luca Furlick and Andy Bonar.
Quarter century mark, Paulo Preto and Mark King.
And then row 14 belonging to Rob Hop. And that's a name I don't recognize here. And then Jimmy Eifling going to be starting in 28th position, making an appearance today in the Absolute Beginners League.
And in the row 15 position is going to be on the inside, Tony Matthews. On the outside, Roger Pritkin.
And then starting in 31st, I do not see him in the server currently, is Hugo Hernandez Gutierrez. And then Richard Klum and William Rowland round out your field. And our director, Joe, telling us that Henrik Kamara also coming off the Lotus 79 race a few minutes ago.
Yeah, he is hot. Look at a great qualifying run. Not used to seeing him up as far as he is, qualified in 9th. Somebody to keep an eye on. And honestly, the dynamics of the racing here at Daytona means as long as you can stay anywhere near the leader, you got a chance to win this thing. We have to be careful. Errol Num's got a 20-point lead, but this is not the type of track where you want to have to worry about protecting a huge point lead. You are inches away from disaster the entire 70 minutes. It'll be interesting to see what kind of strategy Num uses here, whether he wants to stay up front, where I guess he only has to worry about, maybe less to worry about than if he gets back in the mix where things can happen in front of him. We'll watch. This is season 11 of the Absolute Beginners Formula Neagle here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. It is the grand finale under the lights here at the Daytona International Speedway. A lot of talking going on. Christian Tabanka trying to do a little pre-race air traffic controlling, figure where we're going to go on the start. Usual races are 45 minutes, but for the grand finale and the season opener and one in the middle, we go in a little extra. It's 70 minutes today. Look for a long pit stop and then maybe a splash and dash at the very end. The engines start to harmonize. Cars sparkling under the halogen lights here at Daytona. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows. The horses are out of the barn. And as those little skippies come up to top speed, it is Errol Num leading the stampede. David Third Degree Burns follows in as they work into corner number 1.
Yeah, looking at all the traffic here so far, a little bit of contact, it looks like, in the back between, I can't see who went off back there. His blue car, Ludwig Sauer, is one car that is off, but so far that's all I've seen.
Fairly good. They are a little bunched up about 15th back. The front starting to file, single file a little bit. What Num wants to do is be as quick as he can through this technical section. See maybe if he can break the draft early.
Already going side by side through the kink with Christian Kubenka and Mikhail Hafedazen. Mikhail Hafedazen gets better of it. Oh, he gets really loose going into the horseshoe there. And he might actually end up, Christian Kubenka still is able to stay alongside of him. I think he was doing it in response to Flores Bashar slowing up a little bit unexpectedly and right in front of his own teammate. So a little bit of action now from about 6th place on back as Christian Kubenka and Hafedazen still along side by side going down the banking.
Their first time onto the oval now. We'll see how it works. In the toe down low there, it is Kubenka. He's going to be able to suck in behind Bashar. Let's see how this plays out. Out in front, it's all pretty simple. And in fact, David Burns, I take that back. Burns has decided he's going to lead a little bit. So we have a new leader makes the move before they get into the bus stop.
And for the first time today, we're going 3 wide. And this got broken up here for the bus stop for 6th position on back. Oh, a little bit of contact. Christian Kabenka gets into Stephen Larkamp, and that stacks everybody up behind him.
That was for 6th.
And it's Joachim Lundgren, I think, is the one that got one of the worst ends of it. And he's got a cone. Well, okay, Rugenbrecht's still back there as well. Lundgren actually got stuck with a cone for a little while underneath his vehicle, too. But that separated himself, and he's back up to speed.
We don't need to go there, but I can report that Luca Frelich got punted, and he's had issues on the first lap. And now up front, that's the yellow car, the yellow and black car. Bushfink yellow that's Numb on the inside, Burns on the outside. Now here comes the purple and black attack of Tuan Tran.
Oh, David Burns sideways.
He gathers it up. Oh, big banging going on in the back, but let's go to Petkoff. Boy, Rod Hopp got involved in this one as well. Seemed like it was going to be bigger than a lot of banging, but all the cars went straight. Let's see how big this actually was.
Ooh, Petkoff had some damage going up to it. He's missing most of his front end.
Yeah.
Looked like the last time into the bus stop, he's the one that got into Luca Frelich, so he got some damage from that. And then these guys just ended up making contact trying to avoid him.
Yeah, I think that was a little bit of residuals left over from the what I talked about there that we didn't actually see. Okay, so right now, your leader, even though timing and scoring is going to be a little bit off, that is your leader. It says second, but that's because Petkoff has taken a tow back to pit lane and is being scored as the leader. Burns in first, Numb in second right now. And this is something we're going to see a lot of, as here comes Numb on the outside, just getting the feel for it. Kabanka back there saying, work together. Who is he talking to? Who's he racing with right now? I think he's working back there with Larkamp there and Hofflandaisen. As the guys back in 6th and 7th trying to see if they can get up to the guys in front. Adam, this is kind of good news for Numb. At least he's racing with Burns, who he feels comfortable with. Tuan Tran, he doesn't have any of the newcomers up there.
You know, that's something too. Is in this kind of points battle. I mean, yeah, we say that Burns is going to go ahead and take the lead. They're going to be swapping the lead and swapping positions all day long up front.
Yeah.
But for Numb, he's in fact we're going to try going 3 wide here into 1. Hold on 1 second.
There's Tran on the outside.
It's kind of risk that Tuan Tran has to do. He has to win this race. It is a must-win for him in this championship.
Yeah, and honestly, he's a clean driver. I want to say this, so I don't want to be taken wrong with this. But if he happened to make things a little bit uncomfortable for Numb, that's okay too.
Yeah, all racers, he wants that championship too, as well as a race win. All right, so what I was getting ready to say before they decided to take it 3 wide is that Euro Numb, like even though the magic number is 8, that Euro Numb has to finish 8th or better today to clinch the championship. All he really has to do is keep Tuan Tran in sight, and that's it, and it's his, and that's exactly what he's doing right now. In his sight means in his rear view mirror, but I mean, even if he loses a couple of spots to him, it's not the end of the world to him.
And again, let's talk strategy. It's not like he could drop back and play it safe. I mean, it doesn't get any safer back there in 6th position, so he might as well race with the guys he knows. Here's Tran right behind him now. We'll stay on this and see what happens here. The wild card in this one, Andrew Leach, he's been around for a while, but in 5th position, a guy to watch out for, Floris Bashar. Bashar, as our director's letting us know, as Joe Peak was over there doing the Lotus 79 race here on GSRC.
Euro Numb just letting the entire little group right there passing by, going into the bus stop. I think he's content to hang on to the back end of this pack right now.
There's it's 5 seconds back to Hofflandaisen. Yeah, that's maybe not. That's probably sit back in 5th where you can dictate what's going on. Up front here,
Tuan Tran, very interesting here. He's kind of running a dangerous line. He's got his wheels, his left wheels, right in between the two double yellow lines on the banking. And in my experiences, especially in these these type of cars, and I haven't raced in Skip Barber around here, but if you catch that banking the wrong way, it could have very easily have shot him up into Floris Bashar there on the outside. Floris Bashar is going to run wide going into one, able to get back on track.
Well, there we go. Floris Bashar. We talked about him. He is leading legitimately out in front. You know, Soup did his homework as he was trolling through the forums to see if there's any news I needed to know to broadcast this. No racing on the apron. You could be disqualified. It won't happen live. They don't have a live steward, but if they see you down there exploiting the boundaries of the track, pushing the envelope, they want you to the right of that double yellow line here at Daytona, and they'll just DQ you after the race. I don't think Tuan Tran's at any risk of that happening, but if you're watching.
I'm curious to see if the Skip Barber can even do that. I mean, we know some of the high downforce sports cars can, like the DP and all that, and the HPD, but I'm not sure if a Skip Barber machine can do that.
Max speed, they're topping out. What do we think? About 125 is what they're getting up to?
They were getting 125 in qualifying. I think in a little bit less of a trimmed out in a race setup, we're seeing speeds a little bit slower than that, even in the draft. Is Tuan Tran's going to take a look here on the outside.
Put me in my beloved MX-5. I think I could run with these boys. Not sure if I could corner with them, but I'd have the straight line speed.
At least you have fenders to throw your weight around a little bit more.
That's right. Bashar out in front still as they work their way through the bus stop.
Just looked, and they were topping out about 127, 128 there going into the bus stop.
Let's drop back a little bit and see if we can find some battle. And how about the Strudelmeister, Thomas Kick, in a battle right now with Neptune? Oh, and ahead of them, we're looking at. Let's look at look at this going on here now. As we look at Kick, too wide in front of these guys. Now the guy out in front in the 96 machine, that's Cooper Collier. He's going to be taken over. It's going to be 4 wide here. Oh, don't go down there. I heard you can't go on that double O the yellow. Somebody's not listening to the broadcast. 4 wide on the apron. That was Frederick Neptune.
Ooh, Joachim Lundgren in front of these guys. Yeah, it looked like he got a little loose. I think somebody locked it up in front of him too.
If I'm Neptune, I'm arguing that
somebody
it's 4
blew
wide.
an engine. That's what happened. Stefan Larkamp has blown an engine. He's going to be done.
Oh, and he was racing. He was racing about 6th position at the time.
I wouldn't be expecting that. It looks like that happened on the downshift going into 1. Are we going to see other guys with that kind of problem here today?
Guess if you slam it in there too fast, it gets the RPMs up. Let's go.
The concern being, of course, that as far as speeds go, this is consistently the highest speeds these guys have run all season in these cars, and really most of their Skip Barber careers, I bet. Because you're just constantly on the throttle here. You're constantly up over 110 miles an hour. I'm going to be a little bit worried about the transmissions in the engines here for the rest of the race.
Now, there is another advantage we talked about Num racing in 5th position. Another thing he's burning less fuel back there. Now, we know he's not going to be able to one-stop it. It's going to be a 2-stop race. But in theory, he's burning less. His stop will be a little shorter. Let's watch Tran as he's going to shoot the middle here. There you go, the 21 carb, the 20 in the middle, the peanut butter in the sandwich. He's got Burns on the top side, Bashar on the low side, and going right through the center, Tuan Tran.
That used to be a thing in these cars. Remember going down the Kimmel Straight at Spa, the kind of maneuvers like that.
So, with Larkham blowing his engine, that means we drop back to 6th position now. We can see that Hofflandaisen is leading that next batch, but he's about 5 seconds back of the front pack. He's in a battle with Ferreira. Look at that there. Hopla Dason racing for Am Racing. Not able to make out the team there for Ferreira, who he's running. Is that independent, it looks like? Is that gray? That's what it is. Of course, Hofland Racing teamed up with Andrew Leach for Am Racing, and Leach running in fourth right now, so a good points night for them. And a great point. How about Adam Young looking to see that Brame was not here today? So basically, Trans Burns racing for a double championship there, Adam. 8 points separating them, both in the Drivers' Championship and the Team Championship, and they're the only ones racing. That's fun.
Yeah, and they're racing out there like it now. Floris Bashar, by the way, retaking the lead here in the Western Horseshoe just a moment ago, but now it's looking to possibly lose it. Tuan Tran fighting back on the outside here as they get ready to head toward the bus stop. Once again, topping out speeds, not in the draft, about 120, in the draft, about 128.
Now, if I were on the pit box, as we look at these guys in second, if I was on the pit box for some of these guys, especially like the guys in sixth, Ferreira and Hofland Dason, I would consider, as soon as I was able to do it, run a little bit into my window, come on in and short fill the first time. See if I can save some time putting in fuel. Maybe get up and run with the guys up front. That's one way to get back up into the pack. Yeah, I'll have to pay for it later with a longer stop. But I'm not sure if they're going to be able to make up the time here 5 seconds back.
You're going to be faster running in a pack than you are solo right now. So it's almost one of those things too where you almost want to pack, pit in a group and hope you all come out together. So if you can get another guy or two to do that with you, yeah, that'd work. But I have a feeling you would be hard pressed to convince your competitors to do that.
Our director read my mind as this is the action back here in 12th. Actually, it all starts up with 9th position. This is Moore in a battle right now. Moore and Lundgren going at it ahead of them. Now, these are the top two guys in this pack. Then right behind him, Cooper Collier. Remember, we saw this is the group that went 4 wide. Cooper Collier back there looking. Thomas Kick, the German driver. Hendrik Kamara back there. 5 cars. There's a 5-car train up front, and then this 5-car battle here back for 9th. The one in 9th is not as well organized. They missed the dance rehearsal here. These guys are really scrambling. Let's stay on this pack for a minute as now they're coming out onto the oval. This is where things start to get crazy. Up in front, working on the top side, that's Lundgren. No momentum down below for Moore. He's a sitting duck. Now let's see what happens back behind. Collier has his pick of lanes. Let's see what he does. Is he going to force the issue? He can go anywhere he wants. He's going to lay back a little bit there. Still side by side in front of him. Cialis Bathtubs heading into the bus stop. They got to get that sorted out. Or do they? Backing out is Lundgren. That's going to give a great run to Collier coming out of the bus stop. If Cooper wants it, I'm not sure Cooper wants to get into that big mess right now. I think like he's comfortable in 11th. Kamara leading Kick. Uh-oh. On the low side, he's getting passed by both drivers. That was Moore. Lundgren now, and here comes Collier up on top. I said Cooper didn't want any part of it. He's going to challenge from the outside here, Adam, going into 1. Can he get the momentum? Oh, and they come up. Who have they come up behind? That's Kabanka now who's fallen into the mix. My gosh, they closed up on him. Adam, you talked about pack racing. I guess that this kind of shows you.
Well,
by yourself.
I couldn't see Kabanka from up here, but that's it could have gotten loose or something like that. We just had Floris Bashar in the lead while he was in the lead get loose going into 1 and just and Tuan Tran caught him like he was standing still. So I mean, if he would have stepped out just the slightest bit sideways, those guys would have been on top of him. This seems to be a common thing to do here going into 1 today.
Numb back there in 5th. The only thing that's got to be worrying him right now, I think he feels good with Leach. He's got to worry about Bashar. There it is.
Loose again.
That's what I was just going to say. This Bashar guy is what Numb's got to be saying. What is going on here? I think we can look at that one more time because it has a. This has championship
It dropped him from the lead to fourth.
Right on board with the rookie. And the only reason this is so significant is, Adam, you just saw it in turn one. This is twice on the same. Whoa!
Now that he got loose coming across the track in front of those guys, and just a little bit too much on the gas with those narrow tires of these Skip Barber machines. So I think he just needs a little bit of throttle control. Getting into these really tight areas, particularly turn one, and I believe that coming back on the track right there, that's turn 6. So those guys just need to be a little softer on the gas, going 3 wide for the lead. And guess who's back in the lead?
Yeah, he is the loose cannon of the bunch right now, and that is Floris Bashar. Certainly is making it interesting up front, going really on the top side. Burns, yeah.
That time didn't cost him really any time, but I tell you what, though, that even in a pack, if you see somebody that can do that and go from getting loose and falling back a little bit to going right back to the lead, he's got some power here today.
Tran going really wide. I'm not so sure if he just didn't want any part of what's going on up there, as well as he drops back now between Leach and Numb.
Now we'll have to see what happens, because especially once we get back up on the oval, with him that much out in front now of David Burns taking over second.
Burns, of course, we talked about it, mathematically has a chance if something were to happen to the 2 drivers behind. He can sneak in there. It's one of the beauties of the absolute beginner Formula Neagle. No drop races here, Adam. This is short little 8-race seasons, and everything that happens on track matters.
Yeah, typically ran every other week. So these guys over the course of the last 16 weeks have really been the battle. It's the front of some of these races. Don't let the fact that we've only got a 2-horse race for the championship mislead you. It's been a very competitive season.
As we look at 11, they're back to Andy Moore, which makes Numb's 3 championships he's got under his belt so impressive. I mean, he's one bad race with the competition so close. You're one bad race away from your season being ended, and he's managed to string together 3 championships. Now working on the court, we have Cooper Collier. We go on board as he's looking to make a move. That's Kabanka on the inside. Remember, Kabanka fell back into this group. Not sure if he knew what he was getting in store for here when these guys caught him. Side by side, look at that director work there as the camera's right on him. Now we pan back to what's going on. Oh, as we go all the way around 360. I'm stuck in the middle. You need eyes on both sides of your head to race right now. Boy, that gives you really a good perspective of how really confined it is here. They're racing in formation.
And as Yoakum kind of lost that 3-wide fight right there and had to fall to the back of those 2 guys, actually came across the nose of Andy Moore. They were very narrowly able to avoid contact, but it got a little close right there.
Reminds me, here in the United States, we call them the Blue Angels. A lot of nations have their Air Force flying team that the military uses.
Blue Angels is Navy.
Yeah. Blue Angels is Navy. Sorry. Thunderbirds, I guess, are the
Thunderbirds is Air Force. There you go.
But it reminds me of that as they are racing in formation, type formation. iRacing kind enough to put in the French Air Force over there as they fly over Le Mans for us. You can catch a GSRC broadcast. We're able to get you a shot of that.
And if you hadn't mentioned that, I would have remembered the name of that flight demonstration team.
I know, I can't either.
They actually did something really neat. I know it's a sidetrack here, but if you go on the United States Air Force Thunderbirds page, Facebook page, go back a couple months, they did a whole thing with the French demonstration team. It's actually pretty neat if you want to check that out.
Cool. Let's go back. Let's see if we can get a little love here as things are settling down a little bit. How about 16th position? Oh, Collier. Oh, no. He got loose.
Who's that down there with him? Is that Lundgren?
It's Collier and Lundgren.
Oh,
In the
Lundgren
bus
is
stop.
entirely stuck in the wall. I think what you see is Cooper Collier there. He's the yellow and black car on the inside. Joachim Lundgren on the outside. Joachim gets in there, and I don't know if it was netcode or if he got loose, but next thing he knows, he's coming across Cooper Collier's nose, and they both go in the tires.
Here we go. We're going to go on board with Cooper.
You get a nose full of that 64 machine.
It might have been ghost contact, the very first one, but certainly not that last big one there. So, 2 drivers are out of that mix now. That puts Moore and Kabanka in 8th, Kamara in 10th, Kabanka in 9th, as that's a 3-car battle. They begin to close up on Mikael Hoflandaisen in 7th. How about we check back in on the leaders, and then we'll see if we can pick up somebody a little farther back. Who's out there in front right now? Well, they've decided that they're going to let Floris Bashar lead a little bit. As I say that, David Burns says, no, about take a bit of the fresh air. Leach running in 2nd, and our 2-point leaders back in, Leach in 3rd, our 2 points leaders, Tran and Num, back in 4th and 5th. Let's let that get settled down, and then we'll see if we can pick up. Looks like they're going to let Bashar as they go down into the bus stop, single file. Who haven't we talked much about? I see it looks like 12th position. Rudenbrink back here and Kevin Mills, they're fairly close.
Michelle Rudenbrink getting turned around on the first lap, so already recovering to 12th position.
They are quite a bit back, about 12 seconds back of Thomas Kick up in 11th. So some good racing back there from those guys. Oh, let's go to Kuhn. This is the one I wanted. It looks like did Darren just have an issue? Yeah, it looks like in the bus stop he just went off. Maybe we can get this right in front of Tony Matthews. We're going to look at it right now. This was a 3-car battle. That's Kuhn out in front.
Well, his car started to break loose almost the same way that Joachim Lundgren's did, except he didn't have a car on the inside of him to catch. So
yeah.
So that now we'll have to add the entry to the bus stop to the problems for some of these guys.
45 minutes of racing left. This is where we would start a normal Formula Neagle race. Usually they are 45 minutes. I talked about it earlier, the season finale and the season opener. They add on an extra, what would that be, 25 minutes? Plus 1 somewhere in the middle. "26 cars still on the lead lap. Joachim Lundgren, who had issues, actually he's in the pits right now. Not sure if that's if he limped that car in or if that's from his toe. Yeah, I think Collier in there as well. I think those.
Yeah, Lundgren and Collier, they were both stuck in the tire wall back there. They both had to take tows.
So really, let's change that then. It looks like 24 drivers still actually out there racing. Jimmy Eifling racing in 24th, the last car legitimately on the lead lap, and he's already made a stop.
Well, I think we got 26 out there now. Paulo Preto's returned to the track, and I think Ludwig Sauer is still out there as well. So we got 2 cars running 1 lap down, and 1 car running 1 lap down, and 1 car running 4 laps down. Oh, I guess Petkoff has just come back out on the track too. That had to have been here in the last minute or 2 for him.
He is 8 laps down. He had some big issues, so he's got that repairs made. 20-minute, our director says he had a 20-minute lap. Yeah. There you go.
Kabenka, first one to take the bike down pit road.
And it looks like Hoflandaisen's going to join him as well. Now,
Euro came in too.
Oh, look at this. And that's no, yes, Euro comes. This is not surprising. This is what he likes to do. And he's out. Now, this time, though, Euro, you've got to be careful because I'm not sure if you're going to be fast enough, even though you're the pole sitter. I don't know if he's going to be fast enough by himself to keep up with Burns and Bashar and Leach.
All he's got to do is keep him inside on that little F3 box once the pit cycle through. So it might be okay for him.
They race with reduced fuel. Now, just if you're new to iRacing, that doesn't mean you start with a half-full tank. They actually shrink the size of the gas tank. So you have to wait to burn enough fuel so that you can come in and then fill it up. Now, him coming in at 45, I think probably that means he might be thinking usually they really can't go 45 minutes. I think he's breaking it into like three equal segments here. Now we're looking at Tuan Tran racing in third. Let's go ahead and stay on these guys around this time, and let's see if they... I like to call it yacht racing. I know that's kind of obscure, but in yacht racing, if the guy you're racing with, if they tack, you like to match, you also have to tack. You don't want to be caught out in case the wind shifts. Let's see if these guys are going to come in and well. And they do not. They're going to stay out and see if they can work together, do some leapfrogging now, and they can team up.
And mentioned a couple minutes ago that Paulo Preto had come back out on the track. Well, I think he has ultimately decided to call it a day.
Ferreira has come in the number 69 machine. A lot of people coming in. The Strudelmeister, Thomas Kick has come in. Andy Moore has come in. What I'd like to do is give you an interval of time. This is like the bogey distance here, 31.2. That is the distance between Tuan Tran and Errol Num right now. Num racing in, well, I guess he's up to 5th with all these other drivers making that stop.
Yeah, and I think that last group that came in was pretty much everybody from almost 12th on back, so pretty big group.
It is just the top 5, really, that have yet to come in. Top 4. Bashar, Tran, Burns, and Leach, the front train. I guess now they've decided they'll probably race it as long as they can. 31.2 was the interval. Let's see if they stay out this time. It'll give us an idea of whether they're picking up time on the Roland Estonian or if they're losing times. They work through the bus stop. It's the purple and black attack of Tuan Tran from Aumajin Racing leading the way. There we look at the 3-time champion for Bushfink Yellow, Errol Num. Racing in 5th. The only cars ahead of him are the 4 cars who have yet to pit. And now don't be confused, you have options on this first pit stop. You can fill it up all the way, and here they all come. We think there's another
Tuan
stop
Tran
needed.
came in really hot. I'm not sure he got down to the speed limit.
Errol Num has his Skippy out on the oval right now. We ride on board with Leach looking ahead at the 3 cars in front of him. Leach has the 2nd stop there, as he was a good qualifier. He's going to be 2nd in line. Now we're back to our leader of all the cars who have out there is Num. The question is he going to get around before Tran? Tran still sitting. Now Tran rolling. Here we go. Adam talked about it. It dumps you right out into the racing line. There's no getting up to speed. Here he comes. Tran was fast. Here comes Leach. Here comes Burns.
He's going to come out real close to each other here. Oh, yeah, I'm looking at something else. Yeah, Num's already through the horseshoe.
Yeah, that could mean a couple things. I don't think he took a full load, is what I'm thinking. Let's look at the top time in the box. Numb in his box for 15 seconds. Tran for 19, 17 for Leach, 21 for Burns and Bouchard. This is a pay me now or pay me later type deal. Tran may have filled it up all the way. Numb took enough to be away from these guys. He'll have a longer stop on the second one.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Soup. If Twan would have gotten a pit road speeding penalty on that, on the entry to pit road, he would have had to have served it in the box, right?
Yeah, in the box, yeah.
Okay, if that's the case, then he came about as close as you could possibly get to not getting a pit road speed limit. So good on him for cutting the corner there and escaping with that one.
Well, to emphasize your point, his stop was 2 seconds longer than Leach's, but he was exactly the same amount of time cone to cone. So yeah, he was hustling. So let's catch our breath and we'll set the stage for you right now. Actually, let's wait a bit, just one more lap to make sure before we do this, make sure iRacing's timing and scoring gets caught up, just in case there's any confusion out there. As we look at Cabanca right now in 9th position, racing with Kamara side by side. And Kamara gets the, Cabanca out in front. Kamara tucking back in behind. Pair of rookies coming into the season, both very impressive. Look for them to come back for season 12 and make a name for themselves. Okay, let's go ahead and run down. Adam, how about we take them? We'll take them two at a time. We'll see how far we can get through the whole field here as things are settling down. I'll take the front two. It is Aero Numb out in front by 5.7 seconds over the man he's chasing in the points, and that is Twan Tran. Who you got in third, Adam?
Yeah, and then going back to third position, find the two guys that have been up in the lead pack pretty much all day long, David Burns and Andrew Leach.
They battle for that third spot. Then it's about 5 seconds back to you. Get to the guy who was running up front, Floris Bouchard. Bouchard's pit stop was 21 seconds, the longest by far of any of the 5 front runners. We go next. I'll take these next two as they're in a battle. It is Piera and Hoflandason in a battle for 6th position with Piera out in front right now. Let's stay on this for a bit as Hoflandason trying to peek in there. They worked their way through the, coming up to the, what is this, the Western Horseshoe? Yes, this is what this one is here. And then back out onto the oval. I'm sure that spot will change position. Who's back in 8th position?
Well, you got another battle back here going on between Christian Cabanca and Henrik Kamara. In fact, last time across the line, they were pretty much side by side. So those guys fighting hard as well, though separated just a touch here as they start heading back onto the banking.
It really has broken down into 2-car tandems. If we brought back to 10th position, a little 2-car dance team going on. This is Frederick Neptune in 10th, ahead of Thomas Kick in 11th, as they continue to fight it out. Who's in 12th, Adam?
All right, then our next guy is Andy Moore, and he is actually running by his lonesome at the moment. So he's about 34 seconds off the lead, but he's up 4 positions from where he started, taking advantage of a little bit of attrition, a little bit of things that have happened out there here for today. And then you got to go back a couple of seconds. You'll find Michelle Rugenbrink. Rugenbrink recovering well from some early race problems. He's technically he's down 1 position from where he started, but don't forget that he got turned around on the opening lap, so he's up quite a bit more positions than just that.
Talk about being up positions. How about up 7 positions? And that's the driver in 14th position. Kevin Mills started in 21st. But like so many of the cars that we've been talking about here recently, out there singing an Eric Carma tune all by myself as he's racing alone. No friends for him. In 15th, Luca Furlick. We saw him have issues early. He's 55 seconds behind the leader, racing in 15th.
In 16th position, you'll find Roger Prickin, and he's only a couple of tenths of a second ahead of, he's right there right now, a little bit closer than I thought. In that Valvoline machine, right behind him is Darren Kuhn. So that's another little 2-car group that you got going on there. Darren Kuhn, of course, up 3 positions from where he started today.
Yeah, Prickin having a good race. Qualified 30th, now racing in 16th. Let's drop back to Andy Bonar in 18th spot. Now he's racing with somebody in front of him, but that's Kevin McKnight. He's a lap down. So Bernard all by himself at 18th. A couple more cars left on the lead lap. We'll go back, talk about Edgar Sancinelli in 19th. And the final two, well, there's a few more, Adam. Let's see if we can get these done. What do you got?
Yeah, so you got Edgar Sancinelli there, and then you got Mark King back in 20th position. He's up 6 spots from where he started, and behind him by a couple of seconds, you go back and you'll find William Ruland, who William is up actually 12 positions. He started closer toward the back of the field, and so he's been able to have himself a pretty decent day so far, and still on the lead lap. And I'll go ahead and take it to the last guy on the lead lap right now, Tony Matthews. And Tony is back there. He's up 7 spots from where he started, but he's in 22nd position.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that little trip through the field. We'd like to thank the drivers on the track for cooperating and letting us get all the way through before doing something silly. So let's go ahead now and check back in on our leader, Errol Num. Where does he stand? Well, it's up to 6 seconds now on Tuan Tran. This is what Num needed. Boy, he is smart, Adam. It always seems to work out for him. He's in a mix. He's where he's worried about something happen, and sure enough, he comes in for an early pit stop, and before you know it, things have worked out just like he likes. He's out in front racing all by himself. Couldn't be going better for him right now than it is.
Right, and the distance between him and Tuan Tran up until turn 1, when Tuan Tran got held up just a little bit by Jimmy Eifling here just a second ago, is that the distance between them hasn't really changed that much. So I think the next telling story is going to be when Euro Num has to take his long stop and the rest of the guys have to take their short stop. So it's Tuan Tran and the rest of the gang's job right now to keep Euro Num in sight. But even then, it seems like that Jimmy Eifling maybe killed Tuan Tran's momentum just a touch, and it seems like he's losing ground again.
If we look at that Tran right there, if David Third Degree Burns could pick up and maybe get to the back of Tran, they could work together and start leapfrogging, where you pick up 2 or 3 car lanes each time around, and they could maybe close the distance on Tran. But right now, it's really every man for himself. There is no team. There's no advantage to being in a pack right now. Now it looks like Burns is maybe in the hunt. They can start work together.
David Burns, hopefully doesn't get a cut course penalty right there. And it looks like maybe he just got an off track. I don't see him actually having to slow down there. But they got right back up on the back of Tuan Tran. You're going to see David Burns here just overrun the corner going into the bus stop. Decides that, hey, my skip arbor's low enough, I'm going to go ahead and cut some grass. And loses a little bit of time. Actually ends up ultimately giving up the position to Andrew Leach behind him.
He did give it up, but Adam, I think he called it. Oh man, he has fallen back. I'm not sure if he's actually serving. If he had to serve a black flag, I guess he's okay. Yeah. Okay.
That part of the track is just so momentum based. If you have anything disrupt your momentum, you're going to lose a lot more ground, because that's the longest straightaway you'll have right there.
Especially in these underpowered skippies. I'm not used to seeing them here, and it really does. If you lose your momentum, it's extra costly in these cars. Okay, so now what has happened is Tran and Leach and Burns is back in the mix. If these 3 guys can start to get the choreography right, see if they can run down Errol Num, but Num's having none of it. How about 8.2 is the interval now? Oh my gosh. Look at there, you see Tran. Look at that yellow number between those two. Yeah.
Tuan had to have had something happen to him there that we didn't catch. I don't know. Maybe he was just repeatedly getting loose.
Yeah, I think Burns was saying, I heard Burns say, I tried to follow you there, Tuan, and I think that he was referring to the bus stop. So I think both of those guys had issues on the bus stop. That's what slowed them down. So now, boys, you got to catch your breath, get your act together here, and see if you can run down the Roland Estonian, who is a Roland. All this going on is there. You see a little bit of a dance move, a little leapfrog going on.
That's what you need. Pulls right back in, tries to get in the draft. So Andrew Leach the second.
Floris Bashar has fallen off. Remember, it was a 5-car battle, but Floris lost touch with that long stop. But again, we're not sure what that means. He could make it all up. Maybe it was just a full tank he took, and he's looking for a splash and go at the very end. He is by himself, though. How about we go back to Ferriera and Hoffland days? So this is a fun battle. Right now it is, if memory serves, I believe Rodrigo is from Spain. I don't have my notes in front of me, so I apologize if I got that one wrong. Hoffland Dazen back there racing. It's pretty quiet.
Rodriguez, Brazil.
But I only missed by half a globe in both directions. Yeah.
I was going to say only an ocean.
Yeah.
You got to go across the ocean diagonally. Tuan Tran losing another spot here to David Burns. He's going to fall back behind those two guys.
It is one of the beauties of this time slot. We talked about it before here. This Sunday night in Europe, Sunday morning in the Americas, Sunday afternoon in certain parts of the Americas and in Brazil. Only people out of the mix are those darn Australians and the Japanese that would have to race early Monday morning. Tuan Tran, now we're looking, has fallen back into fourth. Actually fallen off as he's fallen a little bit behind Burns. Yeah, but all of this going on behind Num, who's now opened it up to 9.3 seconds.
Ooh, aggressive move by David Burns. Going to take it underneath Andrew Leach.
So you might want to think, well, was Num that much faster as a qualifier? Well, not really.
I think it's light fuel tank.
I think you're right.
I think that's the difference right now.
Adam Young, glad to have you sitting next to me. That was a very good call. And again, that's just another pay me now, pay me later thing. This last stop will be the guys who are chasing him will have to put in less fuel. I guess they'll all have the same amount of fuel.
You know, that's something else too. Is I think Euro's catching the lap traffic at just the right time to be able to use him to his advantage, where the rest of the guys are catching him more on the infield portion of the course, where they're going to slow him up a little bit more. And I think that's a large part too of why that gap a few laps ago expanded from 5 seconds up to 8 seconds. In addition to the mistakes that we saw.
Yeah, so what's going to happen is, since Ural, if we do believe, I'm pretty confident that he's short-filled, unless his pit crew just was amazingly fast, or he had a wider nozzle on the pit tank, on the fuel tank, he's going to have to come in sooner than the rest of these guys. Oh my goodness, as Harold has probably something against the cones there as he took them all out.
Little anger, a little aggression, but it's okay.
Leach, Burns, and Tran running nose to tail behind them, but not making up any time. Boy, look at that. I love this little drone cam here that we have. Follows the cars around.
That was the lap machine of Arnaldo Petkov that you saw there on the outside, just letting the leaders go by.
Now they come at you. Ducking down on the inside, David Third Degree Burns. Burns has 2 wins already this season. Tran has 3. Andrew Leach would like to pick up his first career win. You know, Adam, this track, even though there is a technical section through the middle, it is so much of it is oval. Especially, seems like they're on the oval forever.
Well, especially at the amazing speed of 125 miles an hour.
That's it. It's how long the little MX-5s are out there. Oh, I said MX-5. Sorry.
I was just letting you go with it. But Andrew Leach making another play on second here, going down into 1. Seems like everybody's going to file back into single file here, start heading toward the infield portion of the track, and continuing to lose ground to your leader, Euro Num.
Let's see if we can find another battle back here. Somebody we haven't How about Camaro? Let's go to Camaro. Is this a battle here? Camaro and Cabanca. This has been going on for a while. Right now, it really depends what time we catch it on the lap, who's in front. Right now, Adam, it's Hendrick ahead of Christian.
These are two guys that just haven't been able to seem to get away from each other here for this race.
In fact, I wanted to look at their pit stop time, see if they're on the same type of strategy, and pretty much more or less only a second off.
Looking at Rugenbrink here, I think he was getting passed, by Andy Moore there.
Yeah.
And now he's going to fall back into the clutches here, too, of I think Thomas Kick was back there. Or Thomas Kick's in front. Thomas Kick's in front. So, yeah, just noticing that Director Joe just... Kick must have had something happen to him here.
Oh, he did. Let me see. It was on his lap 22. So it was this lap.
Oh, he got hot into one, lost the back end, and nosed it into the pit exit wall.
Here we go.
So, somewhere out there in turn one is laying the nose cone. It's an orange nose cone, at least.
There we go. We look at the number 44 machine. Boy, that started a long time back there. You can see him was having trouble. That car was squiggly, getting into one, and he just couldn't find it. He couldn't gather it up, and then a little tap into the wall.
We just have to let Euro know that with his aggression toward cones all of a sudden, that there's an orange cone in turn one that you probably don't want to hit.
Yeah, there you go. The good news is he can probably, Kick, of course, can probably come and get that taken care of. He's probably in his window here with 20 minutes to go. Arrow's got to be coming in pretty soon. And
I'm going back, and this could be, sometimes iRacing doesn't catch damage and display it instantly, but for a second there, it looked like Euro didn't have a front wing before it came back. I'm trying to see if there's anything to that, or if it's just one of those random things.
Yep. Our director still has it on his screen. I don't think you pick up damage from cones, do you, Adam? Or
well, you can now. Sometimes you do.
Well, if you can, if anybody should, it should be him, because he got a whole family of them. Kona side.
Starting to see some guys that came in during that first cycle starting to come in again. So now some of these guys are toward the back of the field, but at the same time, it's getting to be about that time that we got to see people put their cards on the table and see what happens.
"21 drivers still on the lead lap, the last one being William Ruland. Tony Matthews, the first car, one lap down as we look at Leach in the middle there, chasing. Let's see, we got their Tran behind them. Burns out in front. They've been able to, well, at least stop the bleeding. I think they've actually closed a little bit on Num, who, here he comes. Our leader is in, and we're going to see if Ferreira has had an issue. And our director has found it. As we look at I believe he's the second car in line. Did he make? Oh yeah, there that goes off. Gathers it up.
I think that was Petkoff there that was in front of him that had the.
So all this going on, is that replay's going on, our leader is in. Errol Num sits in there, and his stop this time.
And he's away.
17 seconds. That's a little more like it. Let's see what the other guys do. Num is going to file out in.
Yeah, he's got to come out in sixth position here. So now we'll see when the other guys decide they want to come in. Is that going to be a gap that they're able to overcome?
There we go. I left you there for a minute, but I'm back. I'm hearing some context somewhere. It was let's go ahead and get this. Arnaldo Petkoff. Boy, he's had an eventful day in 27th. This is just to show you how pit lane can be an interesting place, as he looks like he puts it into the pit wall. That's not quite how you're supposed to do it. So, our leader now is back. Who's up in front? It is Andrew Leach leading right now.
Yeah, just had us change of position up there with Andrew Leach being able to take over that lead now. And they get ready to come across the line here in a minute, and we'll have to see exactly how fast at the line, how far at the line that that Euro Num's going to be behind. Of course, that'll be a good unit of measure here for us.
And these guys can stay out and run a little longer. I wouldn't be surprised if they run this. Oh, now look, Burns has decided to come in. Yeah, sure enough.
Very, very interesting that he's going to come in off cycle from the other two guys he was with. So we'll see how that works out for him.
I wonder if he's just going to come in, maybe watch Gnome in his relative screen, take as much fuel as he needs to get on the back of Gnome and maybe just suck around. Even if he doesn't get enough fuel, maybe Num can suck him around. Let's see.
And at the line, Num is 23.4 seconds behind Andrew Leach.
Burns has got to hurry if he's going to get. There goes Arrow now. Num's rolling, but he's going to be behind him. 2 seconds, 3 seconds gap on on Burns. It looks like how that's going to shake out.
Well, it's a lot better than it was.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that means Tran should be next. With Leach running out there in first right now. Look to see those two guys. Leach was really short. Leach was 2 seconds less fuel than Tran. So Tran always sneaky with pit stops. If anybody could do it, he would do it. I almost wonder if Tran wouldn't do what I said. Just watch and I need stay in the hunt.
I need Euro to come and dictate my pit strategy for the Formula One Pack Majors race later on tonight. Except, he does his magic with the fuel, and he can't put fuel in those cars once the race is started.
That's going to be broadcast here in GSRC at Spa, so tune in for that one. Joe Peak and Soup's on.
You watch me be a back marker.
And my booth partner on the track. We look right there.
Coming in.
Here he comes. Remember, last time he was really fast. Let's see how he does this time. He's
much better, at least on pit entry. It didn't give me the heart attack that it did last time.
Num has got his car out on the oval right now. Here he comes. He is actually coming around. Tran is sitting. There goes Arrow. The question is, Tran going to get out in front of Burns? Yeah.
I'm going to go back and make sure that nothing happened on the bus stop there that we might have missed for him.
Well, they're side by side now, separated by the retaining wall. It looks like Burns is going to get the best of this one. So Burns able to keep second. Tran comes out. Honestly, pretty much how they went in. They were racing about like that. They pick up about 6 seconds on Num, but from that 9 second gap. But with only 14 minutes of racing left, unless Arrow has made some horrible miscalculation, he should be good to go from here. But Andrew Leach still out there.
Andrew Leach heading to the bus stop right now, so we'll see here in just a moment if he's going to come in. Of course, if I'm Andrew Leach, I'm going to stretch that tank at this point as far as it can possibly go. I mean, what are you going to get? What do you got to lose?
He's open for the giant women of Venus to attack Earth and for this race to be called right now. If it was, past the halfway mark, we'd probably get credited with the win if there was some reason that we'd have to stop this.
Mars attacks with the goofy heads and funny little lasers.
I keep hearing it's coming in the next build, but I...
Oh, okay. That'll be a feature.
Leach now, is this going to be the time he comes in?
He's definitely committed to staying out at this point. I mean, if he really wants to take that hard right, I mean, I don't think it would end very well for his race.
Well, let's talk about the little team picture here. Leach in first right now. Of course, we don't think that's going to last, but nevertheless, Am Racing teamed up with Mikael Hofland, and how about that team? They're first and fourth. That's got to be one of their better points days ever. Let's go ahead and talk about the championship, though. Right now, it is Tran who is ahead of Burns. Has he got? Yeah. Trans has got around Burns, so Tran's looking that he's going to be able, if things stay the way they are, hold on to second place in both the Drivers' Championship and then Mama Jean able to take the Team Championship as well. I talked with Mama Jean, my 95-year-old mother-in-law, this morning. Told her that Bastian Hausman was not going to be racing. She said that's okay. She's 95 and the doctor said no more martinis for you. That just doesn't make sense to me. I think it's the only thing that kept her around this long.
I'll be giving me all the martinis I wanted at 95.
Well, it won't be martinis. It'll be champagne if Errol Num can bring this home here for the final 12 minutes. Let's give a quick look in on that interval, 3.6 seconds, as he races in second.
Once again, we're noticing that that wing on Euro Num's machine has disappeared once again, and on mine this time it's actually showing a little bit of damage instead of just gone.
It's gone on mine as well. You get to see the smiling bushfink there, a little clear without the wing getting it.
And I went back and looked, and it was his last cone genocide going into the Western Horseshoe was when he got the wing damage on my end. So we'll have to see if that affects him here.
Honestly,
I know the DW12s that'll actually affect you nowadays as far as your speed.
And now the wing has come back miraculously. Honestly, in the Skippies, the wings, if there was any car that I'd want to lose a front wing on,
it's going to be the Skippy.
Be this one. I guess it does something.
Andrew Leach has lost almost 5 seconds to Euro Num here the last little bit. I've got to wonder. Oh, okay. I'm still looking at the replay. I'm sorry. He's coming out pit road. That would explain the time loss, guys. That would explain the time loss.
Yeah, he is about the timing and scoring hasn't caught up. Oh, there you can see it. He's 15 seconds ahead of Bashar.
Yeah,
he has Tran and Burns kind of in his sights.
Yeah, so I think right now it's a 2-horse race for second.
Yeah, I think that was a case of Leach out there by himself while Tran and Burns have been doing their best to see if they can run down Arrow. 10 minutes to go, 3.4 seconds. Maybe. So, how does that shake out now? We'll run you a quick top 10. Maybe we can put up the top 10 graphic. We haven't done that in a while. Are we able to do that? There we go. You can see the Num is in first. You got Burns and Tran racing there in second, relatively close together. Leach is filed out in fourth position. Bashar right in the middle between the two Am Racing drivers. Ferriera back there in the 6th spot, 7th, 8th, and 9th. Kabanka and Kamara. Look at that, they're so close together. Maybe we can check in on those two guys with Neptune rounding out the top 10. This has been going on the entire, 70-minute race? We've gone 9, the entire hour that we've been racing so far. Kabanka and Kamara. And honestly, I doubt if it'll be settled until it's going to be a drag race out of the bus stop to the start-finish line for those two. Oh, the newcomer, Mikael Ruthkenbrink, has had a problem. Yeah. Oh my goodness. More. Yeah, and that's more.
I think that was the kink right there, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it looks like Andy Moore ended up on his lid. Oh, wait, stop, Andy. On his lid, on his wheels, on his lid, on his wheels, on his lid. And he settles on his helmet. Well. Let's go for a ride there.
You gotta wonder what happened there.
Holy smokes, that went on.
Oh, okay, yeah, and then just watching it again, when he came back around, when Rugenbrake came back around, they caught the rear wheel, and that's what sent Andy Moore rumbling, tumbling, fumbling through the grass.
Go, my wife bringing me my Dramamine there after watching that one on board. Thank you, honey.
Well, most tore up car of the race award goes to.
Yeah, that one's not finishing. All right, the interval maintains at 3.3 with 7 minutes of racing to go. It is the Rolling Estonian looking to pick up his 4th championship. Burns and Tran doing their best to dance their way back up to the lead.
They were about 0.3 of a second faster that last lap than Euro Num. It's good,
yep,
but too little, too late. If they got to get some more time somehow.
Dance team there of Burns and Tran. There they go at it. Look at this, go right on board. Tran leaves the inside open. Burns flies down in there, picking up some speed. And the purple and black number 21 machine tucks back in behind. Now they're doing it twice on a straightaway. They are good. They are. Oh, how about 3 times?
See what happens here as far as the times. Yeah, Tuan Tran that last time was another 10th faster. Well, actually 400ths. Still good, but need more.
Yeah, it's about 3 seconds. They knocked off a couple tenths, but with only a handful of minutes left to go. Let's go ahead and look at 14th position. I guess this battle is not as close as I thought it would be here. Haven't given him much love. Andy Bonar in 13th. Oh, there it is. Bonar. Yeah, this is close. Oh, it's Furlick. Yeah, this is a battle. I knew I had one. Wait, look at that. Bonar in a battle for 13th with Luca Furlick. On the lead lap, they are about 1.5 minutes behind the leaders. Yeah, they're side by side. You know, one aspect to the 2 pit stop event that the series managers scheduled is just one more pit stop, Adam, to break up the pack racing. We saw big packs, and then once the pit stops were made, that's kind of broke up into everybody in 2-car tandems.
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of typical, you know, yeah. Especially, you know, when you got cars that we're not running 200 miles an hour around here. These aren't, you know, Gen 6 Cup cars or even Daytona prototypes or anything like that. So pit stops become even more key at that point. You've got to hit your marks, and what you see right now is separation of who was able to do it and who hasn't, and then also who's had better luck on track as far as catching traffic at the right points.
The tandem we're looking at now knocks off another 0.2 of a second off of the lead. Now down to 2.7. They're coming. But so is the checkered flag. 4.5 minutes of racing in the season. Whoa! Oh, he lost it. Now, what he needs to do is make sure he can get that gathered back up. He does not want to lose his spot. So stay on this one. The good news is I think he's going to probably lose a spot to Leach. We'll see. Watch this. What do you got, Adam?
Yeah, I was going to say, he did his best to save the car, but as soon as he realized he didn't, he was smart and used that asphalt runoff out there to get it pointed back in the right direction instead of trying doing something goofy and trashing the car. He still realizes that not only can he still get second points over David Burns, but he can also get that team championship too if he can just keep the car clean at this point, and he's going to settle into third ahead of Andrew Leach at this point.
Mama Jean might have. A little old for that kind of excitement there, Tran. As Tuan Tran gathers it back up. Now he is in the clutches. He's got Leach behind him, but I don't think he's going to be able to get there. And maybe even the interval, 8 points, probably even enough. He could probably afford to lose that spot to Leach and still be able to get there. I don't think there's an 8-point difference in second and fourth. But talk about not backing your way into a championship. How about our number to know this race was 8, and that was the position that Errol Num needed to do at least to guarantee a championship? Well, there's one way to guarantee the championship, and that's just go out and win the thing, and that's what Errol Num is doing right now.
Yeah, this should be getting 2 to go here this time by. I think for Euro there. No, he's heading into the okay, 2 to go. Sorry.
And while we still have time of the season, how about 16th real quick? A nice little 3-car battle here. Darren Kuhn, Roger Pritkin, and Edgar Sancinelli. Oh! That's commentator's curse times 3. Sancinelli gets caught in it. Kuhn. Oh my. A sorry from Kuhn. As there you see it. Sancinelli says, I hope we can get to the finish. I hope it's not too bad. They were the last cars on the lead lap. It's not going to cost them a ton of positions. I'm going to ride on board with Edgar. That's Kuhn gets loose, and he can't get by as Sancinelli collects. Kuhn and Pritkin involved in it as well. We'll follow up on that. Let's make sure we haven't missed it. Errol Num still is he on the white flag line? Probably not yet. He's going to take it this time around. How about that one, Adam? I jinxed 3.
I got to say that I think that's very impressive.
That's got to be a record, man. Didn't know my own strength right there. As we look at Errol Num. Who is that with Arrow? Is that somebody we need to worry about in the picture? He just got around Roger Pritkin. Well, in fact, he's coming up on Richard Colomb. Sancinelli is out there as well. Care for Arrow. Those cars are not healthy. Interesting. If Arrow would have been a little bit faster, he would have been right behind that 3-car mix that we just had. Well, it's been 8 races to get here. It started at Laguna Seca. It's going to end in the same country, but on the other side. Started on the Pacific Ocean, going to end on the Atlantic side of the nation. Errol Num, just a few corners away from picking up his 4th championship here in the Absolute Beginners League's Formula Neagle. His lead is now almost 4 seconds over David Third Degree Burns. A very smart race from the Roland Estonian. Found himself in a mix of cars early that he wasn't comfortable with. Decided that he would drop back a bit. Took a pit stop early, got out of the mix, did some hot lapping. That was all he needed as he brings the car out onto the oval for the final time. Only the bus stop between him and the checkered flag and the championship trophy. Bush Pink Yellow's car number 78 Errol Numb. An impressive race, an impressive season, an impressive career. Through the bus stop. On the throttle. The two-dimensional fans on their feet cheering Errol Numb as he brings the car around. There's no lap traffic between him and the checkered flag. Give the grand finale, the season finale of season 11 to Errol Numb. And the championship as well. Second place looks like it's going to go to David Third Degree Burns. Quan Tran, Andrew Leach are going to get those final spots. Now let's go back and pick up the Fiero Kamara battles. A battle for 7th. This is what we've been watching. Now, I think
It got broken up.
it got broken up. It did.
So now Kamara is falling back here into Kabaka. Which we did say.
That's it. Yeah, here comes.
Yeah, they haven't been able to separate each other.
Here comes Kamara, and they are side by side. On the inside, that is Kabanka. On the outside, that's Kamara. And it looks like Kabanka's going to get him at the line. Kamara's going to have to settle for 9th spot. Looks like another one. Let's go back to Furlick and Bonar. Is this a battle? Yep. Furlick out in front. Bonar as they work through the bus stop for the final time. Oh my goodness. Maybe a slowdown penalty from Furlick there. He is really slow. Or maybe it's a fuel issue. So it looks like Bonar is going to get this win. Furlick is probably going to have to sputter this thing across. Does he have to worry about being caught? No, I think he's safe. So let's go ahead and give, I think it's going to be 14th position to Bonar. Let's see what iRacing officially scores it as. Coming across. It says 13 on our timing and scoring right now, but it's going to be, yes, it's going to be 14th for Bonar, 15th for Furlick. The last car on the lead lap looks like Edgar Sanchinelli. Remember we saw him in that 3-car battle? He was able to keep that car out on the lead lap. He finishes in 16th position. And that'll do it here for the race today, the grand finale of season 11. What we'll do right now on the Global Sim Racing channel is take a short break, but don't go far. We'll be back to run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, and then put a lock on the gate until next season. Back in a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Absolute Beginner League Formula Neagle. The final round of season number 11 is in the books. We have a winner and we have a championship. It is Errol Num winning both as he smartly gets the win by 3.7 seconds over David Third Degree Burns and is able to secure his fourth championship trophy. Burns takes second, Tuan Tran gets third. Andrew Leach and Floris Bashar go fourth and fifth. A nice performance by both of those drivers. Mikael Hofland-Dazen gets sixth position. Rodrigo Ferreira and Christian Kabanka, they come home in seventh and eighth. Henrik Kamara in ninth as Kabanka was able to nip Kamara at the line. Rounding out the top 10, hey, a very impressive run by Frederick Neptune. Adam?
Yeah, Frederick had himself a good time here tonight. Coming home in 11th, we find Thomas Kick, a German driver. 12th, Kevin Mills. Andy Bonar, 13th position. Luca Furlick in 14th. Mark King coming home in 15th. And Edgar Sancinelli, the last car on the lead lap, coming home in 16th position. He had a great battle going on there with Roger Perkin right up until right toward the close of the race. And so that's Roger Perkin 17th, 18th, William Ruland, 19th, Tony Matthews, 20th, belongs to Jimmy Eifling.
And then I'll round out the rest of these drivers that I had issues here. Ludwig Sawyer, Darren Kuhn, Richard Colomb. We get to Mikhail Rugenbrink and then Andy Moore in the 25th position. Kevin McKnight, Arnaldo Petkoff. We saw him have lots of problems. Cooper Collier got into some trouble. Joachim Lundgren, Paulo Preto, Stephen Larkham got in blue and engine early going into corner number 1. Rob Hopp, and then Hugo Hernandez Gutierrez. I'm not sure he actually took the grid back there. Okay, that's our entire field. Adam, I believe, has ran down somebody to talk to in the booth. Who you want to talk to there? Do we have our champion? There's Arrow Num. Let's have Adam talk to Arrow.
Yeah, Euro Num coming home with not only the race win here for tonight, but the season championship. Euro, fantastic race, fantastic strategy. What was your thoughts going into here tonight? Were you planning on maybe dropping back to the back of the lead pack like you did and taking a short stop at the beginning?
Yeah, definitely. Knowing that I needed, I think, 8th place. So as soon as I saw the gap behind us, I dropped back.
Now, of course, playing it safe, of course, can help guys get championships here. Now, as far as tonight goes, was there ever a point racing in that lead pack where you thought you might be in trouble?
No, not so much. It was very safe in the front, but it was a little bit safer in the back, 5th place.
That's a strategy used commonly here at Daytona, usually on the oval, but it seemed to work for you here tonight on the road course portion as well. Now, coming out of that pit stop and you saw the gap, it seemed like you had a good time with lap traffic, and them yielding the way to you pretty well, but also being able for you to use them to your advantage. Was that indeed the case?
The traffic. I think it was okay. Only one time I lost, I think, 1.2 seconds in the bus stop. So, other than that, it was okay.
All right. So now you've got your 4th Absolute Beginners League Formula Neagle Championship. Are you going to be coming back for a 5th next season?
I have to see. Really, we are joining maybe the other leagues with the team. So, and they run into Sunday. So we have to see.
All right, Euro. Well, regardless of what happens, good luck, and hopefully we'll see you again. And at the very least, maybe you'll be able to pop on over here, even if you decide to give something else a try. And I have a feeling it won't be the last time we see you here.
Yeah, thank you, guys.
Hey, thank you, Euro. And Soup, believe you're going to go and catch up with our second place finisher here tonight, David Burns.
Hello.
Hey, David, you gave it all you could there. Boy, let's talk about early going on with that 5-car battle. You know, we're so used to seeing you and Arrow and Twan and even the guy Short Phil races with you. There appears Cocky a lot up front. Had some new names racing with you though, with Leach and Bashar in there this time.
Yeah, Flores certainly makes it a bit interesting, doesn't he? Yeah, it was good fun. I think we all realised early on though that it was going to be more of a fuel strategy, so I think a lot of us backed off a bit.
Yeah, we agree. When you watch the broadcast, yes, Flores Bashar definitely was the loose cannon of the group up there. He was. It was fun to watch him race, though. He was moving. He didn't stay in the back for long.
No, he certainly came from the back pretty fast. I saw him coming a mile away, and I thought, "Uh-oh, here we go."
All right, let's talk pit strategy. You knew that Num came in, and I think you were the first to follow suit on that one. Was it? Boy, he was fast that second stint. I guess he was light fuel, man. It was hard to catch him.
Yeah, just about impossible. I mean, he must have been doing 207 every single lap, because I wasn't that far off when I had Andrew's draft, and even with Toon's draft for a while.
Right.
But man, he was fast tonight. You just couldn't catch him, but it was well deserved.
So the shortstop that he took the first time, because he came in early, you guys got a little bit of advantage. You were about 9 seconds behind. Then you got it down to about 3 seconds after that second stop. And then you and Twan did the best you could to dance up there, but you were closing a little bit, but it was just not enough time.
Yeah, we were catching him, but I kept looking at the clock and I thought, I just don't think it's enough, because it was 0.2, 0.1 a lap, and I just thought it's enough. And then Toon decided that he didn't know which way the track went and went off to the right. I was like, I don't know where he's going, but that's definitely the wrong way.
We saw that one. Now we're doing the math. We don't think you did enough to catch Tran for second. And what Adam pointed out in our pre-race show is Bastian Hausman was not here today, but neither was your partner for DVR2 Stupid Dog. So it really was a battle between you and Burns, you and Tran again for the team championship.
Yeah, I was just saying that to the guys afterwards. I was saying, that was so close. If only Vincent had actually finished and probably just got a couple of points, it would be fine. But yeah, Vincent's on holiday like Liam at the moment, so not to be, but still, I had to finish third. That's lived up to my name.
That's it. There you go. Hey, well, it's always fun. Enjoy the break, and hey, I saw your name on the entry list down there of the MX5 World Tour. Are you going to dip on over there for a few races?
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll probably miss the first couple due to holidays, but I'll definitely join. Great racing there.
All right, well, I'm over there doing that one. We'll look forward to you over there in that. And then we'll see you next season back here in the Formula Neagle. Good luck to you.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for that. Good broadcasting.
David Burns, our second place finisher. Okay, let's have one last one here to close up with. Who do you want, Adam?
Well, I guess we'll go and grab Mikkel Haffeldazen and talk to Mikkel. Mikkel, hey, great sixth-place run here for today. You never really could get up to that lead pack, but you were definitely mixing up in that second pack here pretty much all race long.
Yeah, I mean, I had a great start from 8th place, jumped up 2 positions in the beginning, but coming out on the oval, we battled a little bit too much on the first couple of laps, which lost the lead group, and yeah, but 6th place is great finish. I'm happy with that also.
Now, of course, the big question with this being end of the season run, are we going to see you right back here next season in the Absolute Beginners League?
Yeah, of course you are. I'm going to try to take the championship now when Eero maybe announced his retirement.
I know, right? Well, we'll have to see. That definitely opens things up a little bit. Now, it's. I'm also hearing that for the champions race here coming up here in a few weeks, we're doing something with old trucks. The old short track at Nürburgring. Are you going to be involved in that?
I will predict that Mikkel has never been in a truck in his life. Have you done one of those?
I think actually my first ever iRacing race was in the truck, but only one.
Oh man, well we'll hopefully have a feeling you're not going to be the only one. So I think that might be a pretty fun to watch. But all those so far have been pretty fun to watch since I've been involved with this. So Mikhail, I guess we'll wish you the best of luck, and we'll see you again here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, thank you. Hope to be with you guys next season also. It has been great having you here this season.
All right, well, Soup, that was Mikhail Hafendazen, and throw back to you.
And we'll have more on the upcoming. We're not done yet here, even though this is our finale here for the Formula Neagle. We have one more race here in the Absolute Beginner League. We'll talk about that in just a second. Let's go ahead and give some thanks here. First of all, got to thank everybody in the Absolute Beginner League for organizing Formula Neagle and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Man, we're happy to do it. It's a fun series indeed. Thanks to the companies, equipment, and software that you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast. Got to give a special thank you to Eric Ekholm and Casey Lalonde. They're the guys who provide the original background music that we use. See the screen for how to contact each of them. Adam?
And then, sorry, Soup, here, 1 second.
Next up.
I know, had something happen here right in front of me. All right, so next up for the Formula Neagle, hey, 2 weeks, and we're going to go ahead and be doing the Season 11 Race Champions. That's going to be the trucks, the short 1.5 kilometer. You know, I'm going to say this, Soup, I was born in Germany. Okay. I don't know if you knew that. I cannot pronounce German, but I do know that's a short course at Nürburgring. So that's going to be a pretty fun one to watch. The last couple have been fun to watch, so definitely tune into that. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including dates and times for all upcoming broadcasts, your best bet is www.globalsimracingchannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at /Global Sim Racing Channel.
We pronounce that Mullenbachschleif. That's what I'm going to go with there. How's that one? Finally, on behalf of the man whose voice you just heard, Adam Young, our director, Joe Peak, and our camera artist, Dougie Beard, we'd like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, we're off to have fun, storm the castle. So, until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.